of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that she was bugging out like every episode. I just couldn't believe it. Like, dang. And in my mind, I was like, thank God it ain't the black girl. I'm like, thank God it's not the black girl. Mary, that's right. Just stick off to the side. She a little bugged out, but just stick off to the side. Don't be the angry chick on this one. Please don't. Let me give you my assessment of these ladies and what I think. Whitney, I think she's adorable and cute. I really do like her. Heather, I have kind of an issue because I'm like, you know what? I just don't feel like she got a backbone. Like, I just feel like she is on the fence, just teetering. And she's very insecure. So she's just trying to find an alliance somewhere. So she still has some footing. Meredith is two parts to that. I like Meredith. I love her son. I like Meredith, but I don't like Meredith and Lisa, if that makes sense. Because I like Meredith. She's not for the bullshit. She's like, listen, I'm not getting involved in this drama like this. Like, we're going to talk. You're not going to scream at me. I'm out of here. Like, she remind me more of like a Denise, but with a little bit more restraint with her. Like, I don't hear her going off on the side really talking shit about somebody like that. I don't. I think her son, though, would be the one that sticks up for his mom. But I think she has some type of backbone. I don't at all like Lisa. Not one bit. I don't like how she talk. I don't like her personality. I don't like her interacting with her family. I don't like her. She rubs me really the wrong way. And not only rub me the wrong way, but she is so fucking full of herself that she would be the type that I would just be cursing out all the time. And she would bar me from all the hot spots to go to in Salt Lake City. So I don't like her. Mary, I don't know how to take Mary. Mary's bugged out to me. Like, because on the reunion, the first and the second one, and even throughout the show, there's certain things that she said, and I'm like, but you said that. Like, you lied. Like, you don't remember what you said? She had clearly said that her grandmother wanted her to marry her husband. That was in the will. Like, she willed that to her. That's clearly what she said, unless I'm bugging. And then for her to be like, no, my grandmother didn't say that. No, she said any other girl. Like, I'm just like, what? So you just hopped onto that penis and was like, he's got all my grandmother's stuff. So let me just go ahead and make sure that I'm secure for life and pop out a kid and make sure the deal is sealed. Because her mom is pissed off at her with the whole situation. I know there's more to that story. So I don't know how to take her. Jen, absolutely not. I would never hang out with that girl. You hear me? First of all, she's loud and she's like uncouth. So there's absolutely no freaking way I would hang out with that girl at all. So Salt Lake City, and the part 3 of the reunion is Wednesday, which by the time this post will be today, but in reality for me it's tomorrow. Good way to confuse you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I don't know if it's just me, but the reunions is kind of whack. I'm like, this is boring. Andy is not coming with the good questions like I thought he would. And the shade, I live for the shade. And I just don't feel like he's bringing it with this reunion. Maybe part 3 will be better, but Speaking of just okay, lukewarm, Real Housewives of Atlanta, I don't know. For me, this season is just reminding me of the Real Housewives of OC. I enjoyed the whole tribute to Breonna Taylor and the Black Lives Matter movement. I think that's very important for this franchise to make sure that that's stressed and to bring attention to it. I love that part. Now, the whole Strippergate thing, I find to be extremely whack and a waste of my time. we all know they was hoes. Okay, there's no question about it. We all know that. Come on. Listen, Kenya, if she didn't have her daughter, Kenya, I don't know. Kenya, I think, would definitely be a little looser. But she wants to be the holier than thou right now, so we'll let her. Because I remember the whole Apollo thing. I don't know if anything even happens. Who the fuck cares? Like, the cameras go off. Just leave a little speculation. You don't gotta be like, oh, I think such and such did it, or this person did it, or this person did it. Just be like, something was popping off. We had a good time. Find another story and move on. Because that's embarrassing. Like, come on. I don't know. I just don't find it to be anything where it has me like, maybe if there was some moaning sounds that they played, a little moaning or a little something, or a little blurred out vision of stuff happening, I'm like, okay. But there was none, so I don't care. Move on. Move on. So, yeah, and that is my... that's it. That's it for what's happening. It was good. It was long too, right? It was good though. If you are watching Salt Lake City or Atlanta, go to the Facebook page. Let me know what you thought about it. Sunny Side of Life podcast. And we'll be back with Hit the Switch, the spotlight segment of the podcast. We're talking about marriage. All right, so I am a part of a Facebook group that is dedicated to wives, fiancés, and there's been a lot of bubbling questions about marriage counseling, so on and so forth. So let me start by saying that me personally, in my life, I have been married before, and that marriage did not last that long. It was definitely under 2 years of marriage, and I didn't really consider that as a marriage. I think that was my freebie. I know that's crazy, but I'm like, this is my freebie. I can throw that one away. So, excuse me. So, and previously before that, I dated. My career was definitely number one for me. And I have always been in love with my husband, Malcolm. Like, since the day we met, even when we were apart, I was still in love with him. And so I really focused on my career until, the right person came along, and it just happened to be he came back into my life, and we decided to go ahead and, get it popping. Now, we did our first episode together, and we do talk about, the different challenges of marriage or whatever. And digging deeper into it, we have our ups and downs like every married couple. Let me just stress when I say people think that marriage is you find somebody to spend the rest of your life with. You may have a couple arguments, and then it's reset, and it's happily ever after. Then it may be a couple disagreements, reset, happily ever after. It's not like that for a majority of marriages. And I say that because the divorce rate is so high. If it was like that, then nobody would be getting divorced, or the divorce rate would be low. And by all means, I am not an expert on marriage. I am an expert on me and my experience. And that's what I'm sharing. And my experience is two totally different people, totally different upbringings. Yes, you have stuff in common, but you have two different upbringings, not to mention the baggage of life that we all bring into our relationships, and trying to figure all of that out. Now, me and Malcolm do marriage counseling. And it is very, very effective. Now, we have gone through one other counselor before we found our counselor now, Mr. Mitchell, who is freaking awesome. He is a Black therapist, and he is so cool. He is like uncle, okay? And I thought that was very important to have, especially for a Black man. And I'm speaking because in the Black community, therapy is not on the top of the list. Do you hear me? Listen, my brothers, my sons, I've raised to embrace therapy. It is not a stigma. It is not an embarrassment. It is actually a celebration of you knowing yourself and knowing, listen, I know there's some things I need to talk it out. I need to work through it. It's bettering yourself. So in the Black community, I know my brothers are not trying to go to therapy. Okay. Malcolm, I don't think, was gung-ho for therapy. I am a firm believer in it. So I actually took the first steps in my marriage, and I got therapy for me. For me and what I was responsible for within myself, within my marriage, within my life. Okay? And it all end up connecting. Okay? So after doing that, I really sat down and I communicated with my husband. I'm like, listen, there's things that we really need to work on. Because if you ignore certain issues in a marriage, they're not going to go away. They're swept under the rug. And for me, when things get swept under the rug, it gives me anxiety. Because it's not finished and it comes back. And when it comes back, I'm angrier because it never got resolved. You know what I'm saying? And communication is the big part of that. And everybody thinks that they're a great communicator. I thought I was a great communicator until I got into couples therapy, and I was like, shit, will I fucking get to the point already? Like, I'm going around and around and around and around. I'm like, y'all know what I mean? Like, you think you are a great communicator until you are actually in therapy with the other person and you're trying to communicate how you feel. And so I think that's what made it where he's like, yeah, let's do that. Now, is he going to see one on his own? Probably not. I hope he would, because to be honest with you, we all in our life need somebody that we can talk to that has no skin in the game. And if you feel you don't need that, look in your life. Is there anybody that you run and talk to? Your homeboy? Do you talk to your homeboy about your issues? Do you talk to your moms about your issues? Who do you talk to about your issues? You let it fester within yourself? Well, that's even worse. Like, we all need that. We talk to God. Yes, that is absolutely, number one, the best route. But then under that, sometimes you just need somebody to say something back to you. And not saying that God doesn't show us our way, but sometimes you need that immediate reaction. You get what I'm saying? So therapy sessions is very enlightening, and it's so important. And I go on to say this because in the group, they wanted to know, does it work? And yeah, it works if you want it to work. Therapy isn't immediate at all. It's not an immediate fix for what you're going through. We've been in therapy, I want to say, maybe like 5 months or so. And it's still pretty rocky because we're still trying to navigate. After those first few years of the nostalgia and that